Good morning, everybody. My name is Scott Bennett, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Skratch. Quick show of hands. How many of you worked as a teenager? I want you to close your eyes for just a second, open them, and imagine 25 years into the future, a group of young people sitting in this room not being able to raise their hands. Well, that's a reality. Did you know that we're at a 40-year low for teens working? Just think about that for a second. As you think about your teen jobs, what did it mean to you? And think about Generation Z and their inability to have those first work experiences and what that will mean for the future. Skratch is the future of first jobs, and I love this slide because it really talks about, in a visual way, where jobs have been the last 40 years and where we're headed. If you look at the 60s, paper boys were really the entrepreneur of their time. They were a distribution channel for the papers. And in the 80s, food service, making its way into retail at 2000. And we think when you look back at 2018, you'll look at Skratch, our platform, as the future of first jobs. But why aren't they working? Where have the jobs gone? Why are teens not part of the workforce? Well, number one, as I'm sure you've heard this week, teens are busy, and they need flexibility. The story of our business, because there is a story, is that my co-founder and CTO, Ronan's son, entering his senior year of high school, had no viable work experience. And as a father, Ronan was troubled. He told me that he couldn't bear the idea that his son was going to graduate a half semester early from school, starting running back on the varsity football team, but no dirt under his fingernails, no grit. And how do you get grit without work experience? So Ronan sent him out to the market, and he found that he couldn't do it, even though he got hired, because the jobs weren't flexible. Traditional part-time work just didn't work for that teenager. So Ronan challenged, or his son challenged Ronan, Liam, and said, Dad, you've got to invent something, because adults are having the opportunity to work when they want, how they want, for who they want, and teens need that same opportunity. So they're overscheduled. Minimum wage is on the rise, and actually today, Walmart pays $11 an hour across the system to workers, so teens struggle to compete. And finally, we've had recessions, and each time we have a recession, we lose the teen worker because it's survival of the fittest. So meet Skratch, a feature-driven mobile app that rewards ambition of young people, giving them flexible work opportunities on their terms. And why are we the right guys? Well, because we have 5 kids between us, and at a minimum, we were going to solve the problem for our 5 kids, and we knew all of our friends had that same problem. And I think you all know, teens spend as much as 9 hours a day on their mobile devices. They discover their world through mobile, and they should discover opportunity through mobile as well. We like to think of ourselves living in the triangle of opportunity, and there's really 3 trends. The first is the $60 billion demand economy business, and we live there. It's only 10 years old, the iPhone, so imagine they predict it's going to be $335 billion in the next 10 years. 55% of people don't know their neighbors, so they don't know what the teens in their neighborhood can do. They don't have any regular communication. And finally, we're down 34% for teens working since 2000. We predict as half as many teens will be working by 2023 as they were at the start of 2000. How does it work? Teens opt in with skills they want to share, things like dog walking, tutoring, basic skills, things that they can make money and monetize. So if they're good at something, they can find a market for that and be able to connect with somebody, a sponsor that would want that. Once they've opted in and registered, people in their neighborhood, local businesses, and organizations can leverage the teen to do work, putting push notifications out there. We have a matching algorithm that seamlessly and safely connects the teens. So once they've opted in, it works with the geo and then goes down a layer to create trust and safety. Push notifications help create behavior. And finally, there's lots of safety. After all, kids are our most precious commodity, and it has to be safe. We have 5 kids between us. If it wasn't right for our kids, it wouldn't be right for any of yours. So how do we do it? We have a sex offender screening. So at first registration, users are put through the sex offender registry, checked in real time, and if anything is not right, we suspend registration. But beyond that, parents are tethered to all of their kids' experiences on the platform. So if you're between 14 and 18, mom and dad have to obviously allow you to be on, accept terms of use, and then are tethered to all of your experiences, not only seeing that you're safe, but seeing how much you're earning. And if you don't hear anything else I say for the rest of the presentation, just remember this. How do you teach financial literacy if you're not teaching income? And nobody's doing that today. What's so great about our platform is it starts with opportunity to earn income, but you can imagine the partnerships and alignment that come with our platform. Banks want to reach these hard-to-reach, elusive, first-time bank and unbanked teenagers, the data that we can learn about how they're spending money that they're making so that we can better gear them towards making right financial decisions. The social implications are significant because teens working sends a whole new message out, and obviously sharing that they're working tells the world that we want to reignite them. And by the way, if you look at yesterday's Wall Street Journal, this story is on the cover. We are at the lowest point in history for unemployment and the highest point for teen unemployment, so something has to give, and Skratch is the answer. And ultimately, we can create a hiring pipeline which solves that problem. It looks like this. You can see everything is pre-priced and predefined so that teens know what they're doing, what they're being set up for. They know exactly, really, they just have to show up and show ambition. And if we do that, we're winning. I think we all would agree. Beyond that, a sponsor posts the need that they have from that menu, date and time selected. Usually there's a 1-hour lead time before a teen will be able to serve it because they're busy. And then ultimately it's pushed out to teens that have opted in for that skill. A booking is set up. There's social sharing and ratings. Those ratings are important because we can create a first resume of a teen's work history showing all of the data, where they've worked and what they've done, so we can show a college, a university, a next employer that, hey, I've done it and here's what people said about me. The revenue model is pretty simple. It's transaction fee based, so there is no fee for people to be on the platform. Each transaction produces revenue to which we take a percentage of. There's ancillary channels that include strategic partnerships. We've white labeled a solution for people like boys and girls clubs, churches, and schools. It's a massive market, somewhere between $1 and $10 billion if we only penetrate 10%. It's flexible and adaptable. So we've been able to take the platform and institute it into different organizations meeting their needs. The great part is we can create closed ecosystems of work. So imagine your church and church members being able to access church teens in a safe way. We use social influencers and word of mouth. The stories are compelling and interesting. We just had a national story on CBS about our platform because this is really solving a problem that so many parents have. A little bit about us. Ronan has built a lifetime from 15 years old. He was born with zeros and ones in his blood. So we have the best in programming and architecture on the back end of our solution. I grew up as a national consultant for large-scale organizations and have been a disruptor. I think I was disruptive when I started, and now I'm falling in love with the idea that we can disrupt an industry that so needs it. Obviously, I don't have to tell you about all the wins, but it's great for parents of teens, it's great for teens, and it's great for society to have teens working. In terms of our traction to date, we are only in Dallas. I'm proud to say that in over 1,000+ transactions, we've had no incidents of any kind other than success. Teens making as much as $1,000 already. And we raised $1.4 million in a seed, and we'll be looking for a Series A in the next 6 months. And plan to expand to 3 markets. Thank you.